Hey guys, so today is the first day of November and there are 2 days left until Election Day. And today I'm going to be looking at some states in the red wall that the Republicans are known for that are not as safe anymore and possibly maybe less safer in elections to come. So let's just categorize the safe states for now. Alright, so these are going to be the safe Democrat states. Now we're going to be labeling the safe Republican states. And let's label it Nebraska's districts. And Maine's. Alright, okay. So, believe it or not, these are actually all the safe Republican states. The ones that are not safe in this red wall across the middle of the country, I'm going to be taking a look at in this video. Okay, so the first, let's go label the likely Democratic states, because we're not going to be focusing on that for today, but I just want to fill the map out. So something interesting is that um, Illinois, I have not categorized as safe for the Democrats, as you might notice, because right now there has been a poll in Illinois that has really bought it down. Like, so in Illinois, Biden is up 14.2 points, but there was this swayable poll that was added 2 days ago, and it had Biden up plus 11. But this is a D minus poll, so we shouldn't look at it at all. So that's just why I don't put Illinois as safe. He's still gonna win it by a wide margin, Biden is, but it's not gonna be safe for now. So yeah. Great. I'm just gonna be looking at. Okay, I think we have gotten every likely tilt or safe Democrat state. So now let's get into what the video is about. So the first state I want to look at is South Carolina, which we know it's not safe like it used to be. South Carolina, but because the primaries were there and Biden won by a huge margin against Bernie Sanders. So Trump is up 7.8 points. This isn't really a surprise, but I just included it. So this would be a lean margin. And if we go look at the South Carolina forecast, Biden only has an 8% chance of winning this, so it's really out of reach for him at this point. So the next state I want to look at is Tennessee, which is really interesting because there's this portion here in the south that is all solid red, and there's Tennessee right in this middle of these states that is not going to be safe. Oh man, I keep messing this up. Alright, so if we look at Tennessee right now, Trump is up 13.1 points. These polls are actually very, very bad. They're all D- SurveyMonkey polls. So, I'm not sure. Looks like the SurveyMonkey polls are really underestimating him. They're giving him plus 13, plus 8 point leads, and that's probably why the lead is down to 13.1 as an average. But it would still fall under the likely category. So let's categorize this as likely. And if we look at the Tennessee forecast, Biden only has a 3% chance to win. So yeah. And next up, we're going to look at Missouri, which is an interesting one as well. Because if we look at the timeline in Missouri, like right now Trump is up 6.7 points, but look at this period in July. This was like really close. It was a around 2.4 to 2.5 lead for Trump, which would be a tilt margin for him. But I just find it interesting that these generally conservative states that the Republicans are known for like being solid in the bag are not really as safe anymore. So that's why. So this would be also a lean state. And if we look at the Missouri forecast, Biden has an 8% chance of winning this. So yeah, next up we're going to look at the state bordering Missouri, which is Kansas. Kansas is actually alright, Kansas, Trump has an exact 10.0 lead. So it's not, he hasn't been pulling away like with the lead that much. It's been the line has been fairly even throughout this election cycle. But like there was this A plus Siena College poll added around 8 days ago, around a week ago, that had him up plus 7, which would be a lean margin. So, and Kansas is like known for like voting Republicans all the way down the ballot, but like this time around it's not as safe as it used to be. So who knows, it might be moving, these states might be moving more left, or it might just be this time around because this is a special election because of coronavirus. So yes, so Kansas would actually be considered as likely because 5 points to 9.9 points is lean, and then 10 to 14.9 is likely, and 15 or above is safe. So let's go categorize it as likely. And the next state I want to talk about is this is really also really surprising. It's actually going to be South Dakota. So if you don't know, South Dakota has had a recent surge of coronavirus cases, and right now Trump is up 14.6 points, so almost safe margin, but not quite. There was a Mason-Dixon poll, B plus rated pollster that had him up plus 11, so that is going to be barely to likely. Possibly South Dakotians are approving less of Trump because they're having more of coronavirus in their state, so that might affect this a little bit. But he's still going to win the state. It's really fascinating that these states that I've looked at are not as safe anymore, and like, especially South Dakota. Okay, so, right, so now, oh wait, I forgot to show you the forecast for Kansas. Um, if we go back to Kansas, Biden has a 3% chance as well. So, yeah. So now if we go back to, what are we looking at? South Dakota. If we look at the forecast, Biden has a 5% chance. So it's even more than Kansas when South Dakota is like more conservative than Kansas. So that's kind of interesting. All right. So we will label South Dakota as likely. And this next state is probably the most surprising of them all. It's going to be Montana. So just today, if we look at Montana, guess what? It is actually going to be only a 5.0 lead. And so there was a B rated pollster, public policy polling, that had him a +2, which is like tilt margin for Donald Trump. And so right now the average is around 5. Around in March to April there was a huge lead for him, like around 20. And now it's tightened up a lot. And so this is actually on the border between tilt and lean. So because tilt is 2 points to 4.9 points, and then lean is 5 to 9.9 points. So this would be on the borderline, so this would be considered lean. And Montana is also a very conservative state generally, even though they're like, it's right in the middle of like Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, those generally most conservative states. But this one is like out of the ordinary, and it's not as safe. So we'll label it as lean. And remember, if it just goes down, if the polls just go down 1 percentage point, so if it goes to 4.9, 4.8, it would actually be considered tilt, which would be kind of weird to see on a map like this, but as of now, it is going to be lean. And the governor in Montana is actually a Democrat, Steve Bullock, and he's running in a Senate race against Steve Daines, so that might make Montana less conservative as it is now. So that might have an effect, possibly. So if we look at the Montana forecast, Biden has a 15% chance to win. This is like the most he's had in the states I have looked at so far. And so yeah, next state I'm going to be looking at is Utah, and this one is also known for being really conservative. And in Utah, Trump is up 10.6 points. There was a point in March to April where it was a safe lead for him, but now it's now it's 10.6. There are very bad polls in this state. They're all D minus except B/C. Y2 Analytics has him up +7. So yes, Trump is still going to win this, but it's not as bigger lead as it used to be in the past for Republicans. And if we look at the Utah forecast, Biden has a 4% chance of winning. So this would be also considered as likely. Final state I'm going to be looking at is Alaska. And Alaska is also a very Republican state. It has been fairly close for the whole race. There's not one candidate has not really been going off the charts too much. Right now, Trump has a 7.5 percentage lead. Around in July, it was a 2.6. So there was a B-rated pollster that had him up +5. So this would be considered as lean. And in 2008, John McCain, his VP pick was Sarah Palin, and she was the governor of Alaska at that time. So it should be strong red because she was from there and she was on the ticket. So but now it's moved a little over to the left. And so yeah, and that is going to be it for the video. Oh no, I actually forgot one state. So in Alaska, the forecast, Biden has a 15% chance to win. So same as Montana. Same chance of winning. And then the final state we're going to be looking at is Indiana. So in Indiana, Trump has a 9.3% lead. It has been fairly the same throughout May, June, July, August, September, October, November. There was a Survey USA poll conducted on October 14, which is kind of a long time ago, that had him up +7. But as of now, it's a 9.3, so it's not that safe anymore, like it used to be. So this will be considered as lean. And if we look at the Indiana forecast, Biden has a 5% chance to win. And so yeah, that is going to be it for the video. And I just made this because I looked at the numbers in these states and they're kind of interesting, and I just find it really fascinating that they're not as safe anymore. And so yeah, so I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.